Okay, guys, this is video number 2. This is going to be day 2 of the Kegel exercise, in where I basically talk about tomorrow as if it were yesterday. So I'm going to start that now. So, yesterday I got up. I actually meditated in the morning, which I don't normally do, but I decided to do it after I took a cold shower. Started wake me up and kind of get the blood flowing and everything. And once I'd done that, I didn't meditate for very long, like 15, maybe 20 minutes. I just really just wanted to get really into my heart space before I left for the day. Um, Again, I greeted 10 people, but this time I carried on like legit conversations about some real shit, um, with at least 2 people, and then just like regular everyday shoot the shit conversations with 5 people. Um, and the way I felt about that yesterday was I just felt like I was more open with people, and like I was really just more myself. Um, because in the past I had this tendency to be in my own head and to kind of talk only about things that were interesting to me and not really listen. So when I say conversations, what I did yesterday really was I just listened to people, and I just observed. I didn't judge. I didn't talk. I just was like, oh, that's cool, you know. And it was really kind of freeing because I got to see a little bit of like how people converse on a regular basis. I got to see a little bit of just differences in people in general. And then I got to see a little bit of my own conversation because some of the people that I talk to were people that I talk to normally, and that I would normally have a lot to say to, but it'd be like gossipy kind of bullshit. And I didn't really do that, and I felt a little weird. I felt a little weird about it. Not weird like in a bad way, but just like I like it was weird because I felt like I couldn't believe how much I actually gossip in a day, like how much shit I talk about other people. Um, and it kind of like I always think of myself as kind of a nice guy, and I know that I am, like truly am. I know I'm love, ultimately, but seeing how I had lived that lie that I told myself that I had to be this gossipy person to fit in with all these people at work. Um, I didn't, like I said, it was kind of it was kind of an awakening for me. As far as my workout yesterday, it was fucking amazing. I did a full body workout again, but I did a little bit more than I did day before yesterday. And actually, like day before yesterday, I had a really really good workout. Day before yesterday, but I decided to do the workout that I did the day before yesterday, um, backwards yesterday. So I did like, excuse me, sorry. So I did like pull ups, and then I did some biceps and tricep stuff, and then I did a bench press, and then I did some leg press, and then I did like calf stuff, and then I did like some shoulder stuff and some abs, right? I did all that day before yesterday, and then yesterday I did the exact opposite. I started with abs and shoulders, and then I did some calves. So I kind of started with like the ancillary stuff, or what people would call the ancillary stuff, like those smaller muscles. And I started with that, and then worked my way into like my last sets were pull-ups, and they were kind of rough a little bit. They were fun. They were still fun, like tons of fun, because I'm learning how much I actually enjoy using my body. Um, I think I knew it my whole life, but I was so wrapped up in fear. Like the little me, the old me was so wrapped up in fear and wrapped up in its own thoughts of inadequacy and all of that, that it just finally getting back into my heart and really moving in a way that matched, that was congruent rather with who and what I am, which bodybuilding or bodybuilding type movements, those weightlifting, weight training type movements, um, really put me in a very zen frame of mind. I think I've said that before. Maybe I didn't. I don't know. I only talked one more time before now, so there's not really a it's like a 50-50 chance. I already said this. I don't know. So yeah, so I haven't felt like I got a whole lot of sleep over the last couple of days, but my energy's actually been very very high, um, especially when I'm moving, which I never realized how much I actually sat down until I started moving. Like I never realized how much, like kind of like an old dude. Like I would just stand for a couple minutes and then I'd be like, oh, I gotta sit down, and then I'd sit down and I'd make like a weird noise. Like I just turned 30 last year, and I was like sitting down like a fucking 60-year-old dude, like, you know, when I sat down. so some of that actually, even in just in the last couple of days, some of that's changed, and it's pretty actually awesome because I'm starting to I'm starting to remember who I am again, and that feels really great. It's starting to remember what I was like when I was 10 years old, because that was the last time that I just lived full out as myself. You know, I was about 10 or 11 years old. I really, before that, or after that rather, up until I did, I did Evolving Out Loud with Cal Cease, which was a couple days ago actually. It was just this past weekend. Today's July 5th in real life. Today's July 5th. I'm talking about July 6th as if it was yesterday in my Caligo, but the real date on the calendar is July 5th, just for clarity. um, so yeah, I guess step out of the Caligo for a second. Real talk. I've actually felt like so much better. Like my self esteem has grown immensely. I actually, in conjunction with Evolving Out Loud, I used a program called the Lefko Method, um, which helped me eliminate a lot of limiting beliefs, which actually kind of drew me toward Kyle Cease's deal, also because um, I don't think I would have had the I don't think I would have had the courage to kind of step outside of my own head long enough to try to. That was weird. I put my head up weird, really weird like that. Okay, I won't do that again. uh, um, but I'd been in my head so much. I didn't know which way was up. If that makes sense. I just I thought I thought I was weak, and I thought I was small, and I thought I wasn't good enough, and I thought I wasn't smart enough or cute enough or straight enough. I'm gay, by the way, if I didn't already say that. But for a long time, I believed that, being gay was like sin and being gay was wrong, because that was shit that my parents told me when I was a kid. Um, and it's just now that I'm starting to get back into my heart space, and I'm really starting to feel my body again and feel who and what I am. And as I'm feeling that, that for me is is really solidifying all the stuff that I already know about who I am. And like I said, for me, in terms of like my body movements, I think it's really kind of centering me back in who and what I am. Um, so that's pretty good. Like I'm not really focused, I guess, right now. Like I don't feel like my heart isn't really telling me to start like a lot of spiritual stuff. It's really just a lot of practical stuff. Like getting on these videos is really kind of helping me to pull out my social graces, if you will, just like my social, like talking basically, because I think part of like one of my gifts is talking. Like I that's what I do. I talk and I lift things. Apparently, that's basically my life. um, but in all seriousness, I've said this before, like bodybuilding and like weight training, like it's a very zen type of body movement. Like I guess the way maybe some people feel about yoga, I feel about weight training. Like it's a very centering time for me, which doesn't seem to make sense. But like even today, July 5th, um, I was listening to like a like a meditation, not a mantra, but like a meditation. Like it was like nature sounds. It was like the ocean or something. It was the ocean. It wasn't something. It was the ocean. Uh, I know what it was. It was the ocean. Um, and yeah, it was like ocean wave sounds, and I felt really weird doing it. Like my head was like, "This doesn't make any sense, and this is stupid, and people are gonna look at you funny for listening to ocean sounds, as if they could somehow hear through my headphones the ocean sounds." Like sometimes, like when you're in your head, if you really think about the stuff you're thinking, it just makes zero sense. Um, but one thing that I was really that I was pretty conscious of actually was I was sort of just releasing any thoughts that I had at the time. Well, not I say releasing, but what I mean is actually accepting them. And I think people believe that accepting thoughts means like you're holding on to them and you're taking them and you're like taking ownership. But what it actually means when you accept a thought, when you accept that thought, you're just saying, "Oh, that thought came," because that's what thoughts do. Like thoughts come and they go. That's literally how they work. Like they don't just sit in your brain and they just sit there forever. That's not how they work. Like they literally just float in and they float out. So if you accept it as okay, this is a thought and the properties of a thought are that they move through the mind, then if you accept it, then it'll just do what it's meant to do, which is move on anyway, and then there's no problems, right? But if you like try to like block it and try to be like, oh no, I don't want this thought, like it'll just keep trying to come back until you accept it. It'll just keep coming back, keep coming back, keep coming back. So basically, what I did all through that workout was just, oh, I'd look at guys in the gym and I'd be I there were some cute guys in the gym. All right, there's some pretty hot dudes in my gym. So there was a little bit of that, right? But then, but then there was also like a little bit of jealousy because a lot of these guys have the type of physique that I'm looking to build for myself. So there's a little bit of jealousy of like, you know, wishing that I had that body now, and then there's a little bit of like, um, there was a little bit of like self-esteem stuff of like, well, what if I had done what I was quote unquote supposed to do back when I was like 10 years old and I had started bodybuilding at like maybe 14 or 15 like some of these guys have. I don't know if they have. I don't even know these guys. I don't know what I mean, they could have started training last year and just been really focused and dedicated and transformed their bodies. It's absolutely possible. So to say that, I know who and what they are and all of that is kind of silly. But long story short, what I was trying to say was essentially that I was really proud of myself for having just letting go of at least the majority. I'm not sure if I let go of all of them, but I really just I wanted to observe any of those types of thoughts, and I wanted to see them, and I wanted to feel them, and I wanted to know them and understand them. A lot of times, like I would go to the gym and I'd see a hot guy, and I'd be like, oh god, I can't, like I gotta not look at him or something, or I gotta be really like really guarded about it and hope I don't make him feel uncomfortable or whatever because I'm scared of being like talked about or put down or whatever, or in some cases like getting the shit kicked out of me, like you know what I mean. Uh, so there was a lot of that type of just hiding myself, and I was like, one, they can't hear my thoughts, and two, even if they could, fuck them, who cares, you know what I mean? Like like the worst they could do to me is beat me up, but they can't take me, you know what I mean? Like they can't take my life, they can't take who I am. um so there's that. Wow, I did 14 minutes today. That's even longer than I did yesterday. I'm gonna see if I can hit 15. If I can just blah 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 blah. I'm not gonna do it. That'd be weird. I just went like blah 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 for 40 seconds. Actually, it'd be pretty great. That'd be pretty great. Like I say all this super profound stuff, and then I just go blah 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 blah. All right. Peace, guys. I love you all. Good night.